All right, before we can start the show, you guys have got to give me a one-word reaction to the trailer for this long-awaited fourth installment into the Matrix. Samuel the Hutt, you go first.
I gotta say excited. I'm super excited.
All right. Excited. I am too. BB Nate, what do you think?
Definitely shocked.
Ooh.
A lot of things.
Interesting.
I didn't expect that answer. All right.
What about you, Dad?
I'm going to say nostalgic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm super excited about this. I was a huge Matrix fan. I can't wait to talk about it again. Watching that trailer was like deja vu for me. We're going to talk about that and What If and Seven Samurai and all this other fun stuff coming up in just a second. This is Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the Porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Turbis?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Turbis? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that Porg's name is now Turbis. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast called Tatooine Sons. Everybody listen to it.
Not listening to your warnings.
I warned you. I told you it was not a good movie.
I decided to watch the director's cut.
This is the Ben Affleck.
Yeah, this is Ben Affleck, director's cut, Daredevil. I thought it was going to be good because I heard some people say that the director's cut made it good.
What'd you think about it?
It was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it is absolutely terrible. Welcome to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. Again, we are the only fan podcast to name a canon Star Wars creature and to be endorsed by Rian Johnson. And we believe that pop culture is the mythology of our generation, that there is a story, it is written on our souls, and that these myths speak to that story. And that is why we are talking about What If Zombies. That's it. That's the only, there wasn't even a question this week.
Just zombies.
Yeah. The Matrix Resurrections and Akira Kurosawa and the Seven Samurai and all of the things, lessons that these shows and movies can teach us. I am David.
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
So we had someone say that they gave us some feedback on the show, and they said the only thing they didn't like about last week's opening was the fact that when you called me David, you said hi David, because we were joking about the Dad David thing. I got mixed up. That I didn't say whatever Stephen Strange says in the trailer to Peter Parker about names. What is it? I can't remember.
Like, that feels weird, but I'll allow it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. He was like, you should have said that. I was like, yeah, I told him missed opportunity there. Yeah, I'm honored to be joined every week by my two amazing sons, Samuel the Hutt. The undead are running amok in the Marvel Cinematic Universe this week.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about how Peter Parker might just actually be the key to surviving the zombie apocalypse.
And it's his movie knowledge, definitely.
Definitely the movie.
Absolutely. BB Nate, this is the second week in a row that you get to lead the big topic.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. It looks like we've had our first look at the new Oracle, but it's probably not the first time we've seen her.
Ooh.
That's kind of, I'm getting deja vu.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm excited for sure to talk about that, because I've been waiting basically your whole lives for the chance to really talk about the Matrix with you two. So this is going to be really awesome. I'll be talking about Seven Samurai and its influence on Star Wars, and really how the story of Seven Samurai is in theater, in films, everywhere with that. So we're really excited about this episode. You can probably tell we have got a lot to discuss. But before we jump in, I do want to ask all of you who are regular listeners to make sure that you stick around to the very end of the show. We've got something really important to ask you to do. For those of you that participated this last week, thank you so much. Your feedback has been invaluable. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go forward. We want to make this show as just a great of experience as possible. And so I'll give you a little bit more information about how you can help us do that at the end of the show. And if you participate, there's some Turbis merch involved if for somebody. We'll explain. You don't want to miss that. So, all right, enough. I'm rambling. BB Nate, go.
Yes, and after waiting too long, we finally got a Matrix 4 trailer, and I just have to say, I need to rewatch 2 and 3. But before we do that, let's talk about things in this trailer that are really important.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I can fly.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
That man has no limits.
There's one that's like just follows the movies. It's Path of Neo.
Okay.
And it lets you like make all the decisions he makes, like red pill or blue pill, or if you actually listen to Morpheus's instructions in the office.
So it's kind of like Knights of the Old Republic, but in
what was the other one though?
Enter the Matrix.
That
one follows other characters and could technically be canon.
I had that game. I played that game.
It's a fun game. The controls are terrible, but it's a lot of fun. So, okay, first we're just going to get your thoughts and your ratings on the trailer on a scale of 1 to 10 white rabbits. Sam?
All right. White rabbits.
White rabbit.
That was good.
I'll give it a 7 or 8. They marketed the trailer really well before it came out. And the trailer was good too. It's got me hyped for it. Didn't give away too much, but yeah, I'd probably give it a 7 or 8.
Dad?
I'm going to go with a 9 out of 10. I typed this in replies on Twitter while I was on the airplane for 14 hours, an entire day yesterday, probably a half dozen times. This trailer needed to feel like the original Matrix movie.
Yeah.
While at the same time giving us things to question that feels very different.
And confirm that 2 and 3 are still a thing.
Well,
because it did that.
Yeah, it did do that. It did. And contrary to, we'll talk about that in a segment coming up in just a minute. But anyway,
let's go with some of the biggest moments we see. First, we see the black cat that deals in the first movie and last movie with the whole first movie, deja vu, glitch in the Matrix and everything. And actually, when we see the cat in the first movie, we hear a sound effect. And that same sound effect was used in the trailer.
Was it like a...
It was a meow.
Jingle? Oh, meow.
It was a meow. Okay. And it's the exact same sound effect that they used in the trailer, which is kind of fun. Which, of course, that means a lot because we also see it with Sati in Matrix 3.
Which is Revolutions.
Which is Revolutions.
You see the cat?
At the very end with Sati. At the very end.
Yes,
the cat wakes up Sati as the entire Matrix is being rebooted. And she sits with the cat overlooking sort of the new sunrise golden, no green tint version of
I
the
don't
Matrix.
Remember this movie.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do, and I'm geeking out.
And so also Trinity is alive, and we're going to talk about a little bit more about Trinity in another way. Going to the Alice book we see with Sati, if we look at the page that it's on before it's actually closed, the drawing is of the Red Queen leading Alice away. Now, if you recall, the Red Queen is the name that Trinity is given in the Animatrix.
Wow.
So,
Sam, you haven't
there are
seen that
so
yet.
many connections going on, and we're only like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
in
we need to watch
20 minutes in the
rewatch all movies, including
the Animatrix. Absolutely.
Also, we saw her in a pod waking up, and she had a buzz cut, some hair. I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's get into the biggest surprises. So the Neo and young Morpheus scene was really cool, and there was a lot of things that happened in this scene. In the scene, young Morpheus is wearing red, unlike Neil Patrick Harris's character, who is wearing blue.
That's
I
right.
noticed the glasses. Yeah.
Absolutely. The red and blue contrast.
There's a lot.
They're just owning it in this version.
There's so many points in the trailer with that. Also, the gold code, which is the source that the architect talks about in Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions, is prevalent throughout the whole trailer.
Now, I didn't notice the gold code.
So if you look in the things like between like this Christmas and all that stuff, the gold code is rising up.
Okay.
Opposite the
source
falling
code.
green. Yeah, the source code.
Okay.
Which is really cool. And also, after Neo does his whole Hadouken on young Morpheus.
What is that?
It's
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
And blows up the entire dojo.
Which was cool.
They linger on the scene for a little bit, and everything starts to glow gold. A little bit like the end of Matrix Revolutions
yeah.
when he's hooked up and connected to a Sentinel.
Now, the whole trailer, when you're in the Matrix, I kept waiting for the green
No,
tint.
everything had a gold.
It did. It's the reloaded
true.
Matrix from the end of this. This is a continuation of that story.
It definitely is.
Without a doubt.
Reloaded.
Yes.
I thought the Matrix was destroyed at the end of that movie. Wow, I'm so lost right now. I've seen the first movie plenty of times.
So you guys should explain. We saw the 20th anniversary of the Matrix in theaters. So we've seen, you guys have watched
Matrix
that
many times.
several times.
Yeah.
Right?
Love it.
So I remember the first time we watched those movies. You were out on some trip. We were in Monument.
It was a long
and
time
they were
ago.
playing it on, I think it was TNT or something
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
like a marathon of all
And
three.
so we asked Mom to ask you if you thought it'd be okay if we watched these movies, because we were younger at the time and you weren't sure.
But it
it'd
was
be okay.
TV edited. So.
Right. So you're like, sure, go ahead. So we watched all three movies that day. And that's the only time we've seen 2 and 3.
And they were edited and they were with commercials. So
And you guys
we had
were,
the attention span of an 8 and 12
Although
year
I do remember after the movies going around the downstairs, playing around, doing like cartwheels and stuff while they were like shooting
It was
Nerf
fun.
guns at each other.
It was a lot
great.
of fun. But we have a lot of questions. This trailer gave us more questions than it did answers. I don't think we got any answers from this trailer. But how is Neo alive?
Yeah, I remember him dying. I do remember
me
that.
too. There's a flash in the trailer where we see Neo getting out of the pod, but he also has a buzz cut and some hair. Now,
Well, doesn't this tie into just the way that they look in the pods in the Matrix
but
in the first
hair
series?
is very important.
Okay.
So with yes,
Never
hair
has
is
a haircut
important.
been so important.
If you look at the first Matrix, when everybody wakes up, when people wake up from a pod, they
bald.
are completely bald, clean shaven, because they've never had the ability to grow hair because they've just been born and grown up in a pod. No way. They have hair in this. That means that they've been reinserted into a pod.
Whoa.
So these are probably the bodies we see from the end of Matrix Revolutions.
So the
Also,
Sentinels, the machines, rescued Neo and Trinity, who are both dead at the end of Matrix, at the end of Revolutions.
Yes.
I'm going to get all confused.
So many R's.
I can't even remember my own children's names without getting them confused. I'm going to have a hard time on these movies. So Revolutions.
Yes.
We know Neo is dead and we know Trinity is dead. Apparently, the machines rescued their bodies and restored them. And there's actually a clip in the trailer where it looks like the machines are
They're working on Neo and he has his burnt out eyes, which means that it's the same body from the end of Revolutions. So they're getting reinserted.
Sam's just over here
which
with
is
his
awesome.
eyes all.
You know,
completely lost.
I'm still completely confused, but I know enough now to hold my weight throughout this
Like,
whole...
you're talking about this stuff, and it almost feels like you're giving me spoilers for the other two movies. That's how unfamiliar with them I am.
Yeah, same here. I was like, wait, that happened? But right after we see Neo wake up from the pod, we also see a Zion-esque place that's destroyed. And if you recall in The Matrix Reloaded, the architect says they have destroyed Zion 5 times before. Maybe this is one of them.
I cannot wait for those scenes.
I do remember that one scene in 2 where he's like, Neo had been there before. That scene was trippy.
And that's the architect. Now, guys, you need to understand. I probably watched Matrix Reloaded, which is the second one.
Okay.
Yeah. Matrix Reloaded on DVD 30 times.
No.
Between the release of that movie on DVD and Matrix Revolutions.
No way.
I People don't like Matrix 2.
I thought
it's starting to be. Both Revolutions Reloaded are becoming cult classics, a lot like the prequels.
Okay, people have a problem with 2, but I think the reason they have a problem with 2 is because of what happened in 3.
Yep,
they felt it did not feel like the Matrix. I remember the buzz. I was on the message boards. I was watching. I was all about it.
You went to what is the Matrix
all the time. All the time. Okay. The theories and everything, because the architect stuff excited me. The idea that Neo had gone through this multiple times before, and that Zion had been destroyed multiple times before. So when that pops up in the trailer that we got yesterday, and it's like, this looks like they're watching this again. This looks like they're Zion. I was
excited.
So I'm sitting there in the Colorado Springs airport watching this on my little iPhone with my headphones in, and people around me are looking at me like I am out of my mind. Because I'm like, oh yes, like that. I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh no, I'm doing this the whole time, and people are looking at me like, you're out of your mind. So anyway. But we don't call people crazy here.
No, we don't. Alrighty. Well, so we had Christoph. Jonathan Groff was in this trailer just for a little bit though, and it was very strange.
At the very end.
At the end,
who's Christoph?
Like, let's go
Christoph
back
from Frozen.
Oh, you mean that's where I've seen him before.
Yeah. And he says that
please break out into an 80s ballad.
And he knows about the Matrix. So I'm wondering, do you think this could be a young architect, a lot like how we get a young Morpheus?
I would like that because I'm a big architect fan.
The actors look like it could be a young architect.
There is a icon sculpture thing on the desk in the back corner. It looks like an M. So there was a lot of people speculating he could be the Merovingian, but he's not the Merovingian.
The what?
What?
If you look, you guys don't know who the Merovingian is?
I've never heard that word in my entire life.
He's one of the primary characters in Reloaded. Oh my gosh, I'm so disappointed
and
as
I'm
a
like,
father right now.
I am pumped to rewatch these movies because that'll be my first time watching this.
But it also looks like a D, so I think it's like a three-dimensional
which
skull.
It could be,
he's got a medical license.
Which it could be
a doctor. He could be a freaking
he's an
therapist,
MD.
like male practice.
We also get maybe a reference to Deus Ex Machina.
I've heard of that term before.
Which is apparently the name of the big machine at the end of Revolutions, the big face.
What did you just say? It's like Deus Machina or something like that?
Deus Ex Machina or something.
Yeah,
Deus Ex Machina?
Like,
that's it.
That's apparently the name of the
Return
face.
of the Machine, I think
it's apparently the name of the face of the big face.
The baby?
No,
giant baby
it's like
thing?
a giant robot face thing in the Matrix Revolutions. And so it's very, very important. Yeah, so maybe he's a young architect. That'd be really
would
cool.
love for that to be the case. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be cool. Okay.
Young Morpheus. Now let's talk about this. Somebody made a really good point to the fact that maybe it was confirmed today that the actor, I'm not going to try to pronounce his name without it being on paper because I just can't. That the actor said that he is playing Morpheus. So it's confirmed now.
He tweeted out a picture of Morpheus on his Instagram.
So yeah, it's basically confirmed now, and people are wondering if, like, how every
tweeted out on his Instagram. That was the oldest. That was.
I didn't even register that.
The most dad moment of this entire episode is when I said
put "the" in front of anything.
He tweeted out on Instagram, and it shared to the Facebook. There we go. All right.
Yeah. So there's a theory that, like, how there is a new one born every generation. There may be a new Morpheus born every generation.
The chosen
there
one.
was
The
just one.
No, there's a one every generation.
I thought it was just
reborn.
Neo.
No,
he is, but he's reborn every generation.
Yes, exactly. So there's wondering if, since there is no one without Morpheus, that's pretty much fact. If you watch the movies, there couldn't be a one without Morpheus.
I don't know if I agree with that. I think that that's one of those fan concepts that has entered into consciousness over the last, 17, 18 years since that last movie and become generally accepted, while the movies themselves.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, Morpheus is the one that showed the way to Neo. And it looks like that's how it's going to be in this movie as well. So there maybe is a way for Morpheus to be the one that shows the way.
Okay.
So that people think
we'll
it's of the reborn Morpheus, which would make sense. Now going to Sati, the lady at the restaurant coffee place is what it looks like. Starbucks.
No, they don't have Starbucks there.
Well, they have a restaurant that is in San Francisco that makes an appearance. So this place is a real place.
That's cool.
So that's a big deal. But we see this lady with Alice in Wonderland just close the book and look at Neo. She's also wearing red glasses. So that's very important as well.
Again, nothing is coincidence in the Matrix movies.
Oh, no.
If Neil Patrick Harris is feeding blue pills to Neo, to Thomas Anderson, to keep Thomas Anderson from waking up to the Matrix, which is really what the blue pill is all about, right? He's just drugging him into submission. Anyway, at the same time, he's wearing blue glasses.
Yeah.
And you've got this Oracle-like character.
Yes.
With red glasses and looking through the Looking Glass book.
Right.
She is on the opposite side of this in a big
And I mean,
way. She's the Oracle. There is no doubt in my mind.
The Oracle mentored Sati, and Sati is a computer program, not a real person put into the Matrix.
Which the Oracle was a computer program.
Exactly. So this is most likely the new Oracle. The thing is people are wondering, we never have seen the ability for computer programs to age. But, I mean, we haven't seen that with the Oracle either, but it's a computer program. I mean, there's a lot to the Matrix we don't know.
Everything is different in this Matrix.
Definitely.
What happened at the end of Revolutions was not just a reboot, which is sort of what we see when the architect talking about Zion's been destroyed 5 times. There's been many different Neos, all of that kind of stuff. The boys are like freaking out because they've not seen me geek out about a story like this.
We don't know what you're talking about.
So for all of you listening right now that love the Matrix, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it kept coming back to the same version of the Matrix, the green tint, same
90s.
deal, the 90s, the machines were in control, all of this. There is a truce that is initiated at the end of Revolutions with a completely resetting of the Matrix, and it comes out golden, which is what we're in here right now. Everything is different. So the machines are going to be different. The programs are going to be different.
That's what it seems like
in this. And she's aged at this point. Plus, she was born out of love. There's something different about her in the first place. Sati is one of the best parts of 2 and 3 of the Matrix, and I please let her be this character, and may she be the Oracle. I'm begging you, change it if it's not the case. So, all right.
And another little fun tidbit.
Hey, Sam is just staring at me.
There's another little fun tidbit that is interesting. The song that they chose for this trailer is actually called White Rabbit, and the whole song is about Alice in Wonderland. So it's very important, and it's insane. I do think that with everything going on, she's most likely the Oracle. And something that hasn't been mentioned in a lot of places is that there are all these people who suddenly have green eyes.
Green eyes, like the Matrix in their eyes.
The Matrix in their eyes. We see them chasing Neo. It's like a couple flashes. Very difficult to see.
Because you didn't do like me on the airplane yesterday and have it up on your computer and literally click frame by frame.
Oh, yeah, I did the same.
Frame by frame through this
I
entire
watched
trailer.
it in the morning and then showered and went to school, and I haven't had time to watch it.
Yeah, I've watched it many times. But yeah, I'm wondering who these people with the green eyes are.
So you see all those people on like their phones and stuff, right? Or tablets or whatever. What if like there was like some code or something that popped up on their phone that like turned them bad and they had to go like chase Neo or something?
Yeah.
Kind of like agents, but in a different way.
Do you remember the superior or the powered up agent from Matrix 2?
Yep.
He's in this movie. He was the one agent shown in the trailer. Same actor, everything. So we're going to have a super powered agent back, which is really cool. But yeah, I just remembered
Smith.
Smith is not going to be in this
I know, it's just kind of disappointing.
Hugo Weaving said he's not going to be in this movie.
Dang.
But yeah, I think that's about it. While I'm absolutely pumped for this movie, I'm not sure if I
think
can
Dad's excited at all.
say any more. But after the trailer, are you guys going to take the red pill or the blue pill?
I need to rewatch the movies. That's all I can say.
Same here.
I'm totally taking the red pill. I've already taken it. Like the scene in the trailer where there's the sink full of blue pills.
That's you.
They were all red for me, and I was scooping them up like some
like candy.
Like a complete addict, man. I was just give them to me, baby. All right.
I don't think I've seen you this geeked out on anything except for Star Wars.
I forgot how much I loved this trilogy, or this first two specifically, until watching that trailer.
I think if we go into 3 when we rewatch it with an open mind, I think we'll enjoy
knowing
it
that this movie's coming.
lot more. I think we will. But
absolutely, yeah. It's going to be a ton of fun. Awesome. All right, we should probably move on. We're way behind. Did you have more? Did you have more?
No, I have an intro for this segment.
No, I'm going to do it. Last week, we introduced a new segment called Bad News, where we discuss 3 of the most insane headlines from articles that fandom released in the past week and why we think they're nothing more than clickbait. We're going to do it again this week because honestly, the clickbait just keeps on coming.
Chuta, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and...
You got one?
What is it?
Minecraft.
Okay.
Fans.
Cool.
They do have Minecraft.
They do.
Stuff.
Oh, good. We've got a very exciting announcement for you.
That's right. Yeah, we are now partnering with Design by Humans. Design by Humans is an amazing collection of artists and creatives who want to offer the best of the best in apparel and accessories for all the geeks and the nerds out there, like you guys.
Yeah, they're awesome. They offer some of the coolest officially licensed Star Wars, Marvel, and DC shirts, mugs, hats, and more. It's really cool.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, if you see an awesome Star Wars or DC or Marvel shirt and wonder where you can get it, you can probably get it at Design by Humans.
And because I know you're wondering, yes, they do have Morris shirts. You know, that like chicken thing we were talking about, the thing you didn't know what it was when you added it to our store.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
have
I saw it. Yeah, it's awesome.
But they've also got more Shang-Chi stuff. They've got What If, The Mandalorian, Batman, and tons of other cool stuff.
But the best part is when you purchase using the link at TatooineSons.com, 100% of our proceeds from your purchase are used to provide food, medicine, education, and more to a child who desperately needs it.
Yeah. So again, if you are looking for any officially licensed shirts or items from all of your favorite fandoms, please check out all of the items that are available at the link on TatooineSons.com.
Well, you want the bad news or the really bad news?
All right, Sam, you got the first headline. Let's do it.
This one's a doozy. The Matrix Resurrection synopsis seemingly erases Reloaded and Revolutions from canon.
Oh, this is appropriate.
This headline comes from MovieWeb.com. But we could have sourced it from about a half a dozen other news sites saying the exact same thing. It's being widely reported, but as of this recording, we cannot find it anywhere else. But here's what the official...
Let me clarify what that means. Literally, I found a dozen websites that are all using this quote that Sam is about to read, but not sourcing it anywhere. They're just saying it's from the official synopsis.
Okay. So this is what the official air quote synopsis is, according to these sites. The Matrix Resurrections is a continuation of the story established in the first Matrix film. It reunites Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss as cinematic icons Neo and Trinity in an expansion of their story that ventures back into the Matrix and even deeper down the rabbit hole. A mind-bending new adventure with action and epic scale, it's set in a familiar yet even more provocative world where reality is more subjective than ever, and all that's required to see the truth is to free your mind. 20 years after the first film, the franchise that helped define pop culture at the turn of the century is back for a continuation and extension of the original movie. The Matrix remains in the zeitgeist as a film and has changed the way we look at cinema and reality itself. With its game-changing action and visual effects, The Matrix helped pave the way for films to follow.
All right, the key words in that are they keep saying the original Matrix movie, the first Matrix, a continuation from the first one.
Yeah.
With that.
Also, what is zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist, I can't remember.
Okay. Anyway.
It's something.
So then we went
Let's
to...
define it. Hold on.
Okay.
The dividing spirit or mood of a particular period of history is shown by the ideas and beliefs of the time. This story captured the zeitgeist of the late 1960s.
Makes sense. Okay. So then we went to whatisthematrix.com.
Which is an important website. It's the official website for the movie.
And the official trailer post on YouTube by Warner Brothers. Here's what it said. From visionary filmmaker Lena Wachowski. Wachowski, whatever. The Matrix Resurrections, the long-awaited fourth film in the groundbreaking franchise that redefined a genre. The new film reunites original stars Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss in the iconic roles they made famous, Neo and Trinity. And then it goes on to list other actors and production.
Does it even mention anything
about
of the movie?
Any films?
Yeah, and if you just listen to the previous segment, the connections to 2 and 3 are pretty obvious. All right, so clickbait level?
A 10.
All
Easy.
right.
No question about
All right, here's my headline. Lucasfilm reportedly developed a new Ben Solo Star Wars trilogy. The headline is from our friends over, we talked about them last week, InsideTheMagic.com. It's about 500 words of a recap about everything that happened in the sequel trilogy before dropping this single sentence related to the headline. Here's the sentence. This leads us to a puzzling but potentially very exciting for Ben Solo fans report that a post Rise of Skywalker trilogy starring Driver as Solo is in the works. That's it.
What are their sources?
It does link to an article on lrmonline.com, which references rumors reported on the Den of Nerds YouTube channel. Den of Nerds sort of leans the way a lot of Star Wars YouTube does, meaning it tends to be pretty negative about the sequels. The problem that I have with this isn't really the rumor itself, though I'm not sure that it's all that credible. With it, it's that InsideTheMagic.com is posting another headline that is designed to get clicks instead of reporting anything credible. It's a post for post's sake with a headline going for nothing but clicks and one sentence with a link buried down in the bottom. In order to make sure that they get good SEO from it. That's all that it is. So I'm going to put this at a clickbait level of, I'm going to go 9.
Ooh. 9. Oh, wow.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this series is real. Anyway.
So this next one is from our good friends that we got this covered.
Oh, yes.
Henry Cavill will reportedly show up at the end of Black Adam. So this one is linking to a rumor by the website geekosity.com. The rumor is built off a leak by the website dating back to April of this year and then claims to be validated by this quote by Black Adam producer Hiram Garcia. And the quote is, "We certainly know the fans want it. All I can say is that we're always listening to the fans and doing what we can. While this would be amazing, it's only a wish and hasn't been confirmed. It's hearsay at best. Do I want it? Yes. Am I willing to believe it? Not quite yet. I give this one a 5.
Okay, 5.
It's not too bad.
It's not.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, it has a reasonable kind of rumor-esque.
It's still pretty clickbait.
Yes,
it is pretty clickbait. All right. Okay, Samuel the Hutt. Let's talk some what if.
Yeah. If you thought this week's episode was going to be boring, you'd be dead wrong. There was plenty of typical zombie antics, but with some great life lessons from our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And everything came to a climactic head at the end of the episode. What? Nothing for the Scott Lang thing?
That's terrible.
Come on. No, that was
one of the weirdest parts of this episode.
Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
You're coming to us. Is as the footsteps of steps and
There are many magic rings in this world, Bilbo Baggins, and none of them should be used lightly.
It was really weird, though, to see Scott Lang and the cape.
Yeah,
just floating around this thing.
He handled himself well, I think.
He did. Yeah.
I think,
he was as bad as, not only did he become a dad joke, thank you, Sam, but he was dropping them.
Yeah.
Really good. It was impressive. Yeah. All right. First off, rating on a scale of 1 to 10, super zombies.
Super zombies.
Oh, wow.
That's my rating.
Pretty good.
That was good. You should go audition for Walking Dead.
That was good.
It's over. It's almost over.
I'm going to give it 6. I thought it was fun. We're not into zombies, so it's just not been our thing. We're not Walking
I
Dead fans. I
expected more from Robert Kirkman.
Oh, explain. So give your rating and then explain.
So 6, definitely after the high of Doctor Strange too. That kind of tainted it because I saw how fantastic this series can be. But yeah, Robert Kirkman did the Marvel Zombies storyline, and I'm sure that comic is absolutely fantastic. I've heard it's great, and I've heard that they've left out a lot of things, and it's practically not even the same.
No, it's not the same story at all.
So it's just Marvel Zombies is what they were saying. But yeah.
So who's Robert Kirkman other than the fact that he did this?
He did this, and he did Invincible, and he did The Walking Dead. So he knows his stuff.
So he's a zombie guy.
Yeah, he's done zombies. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anyway.
Well, so this episode kind of picks up at the beginning of Infinity War with Bruce crashing to Earth to warn everyone of Thanos' imminent invasion. But in this story, he arrives to a very empty New York.
So it's COVID version of New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Lockdown version.
Uh-huh. All right. Well, I mean, it was empty aside from the children of Thanos just sitting there on Bleecker Street. They're just like, they've got this speech for like one person. Planned out. Squidward's sitting there like talking about it, and it's just Bruce. Banner then he tries to coax Hulk to come out, but he's not having it. And then all of a sudden, the Avengers show up and they kick butt, but not long after we see them chowing down on Squidward and his friend. And then it turns out that the Avengers and most of the East Coast have been turned into zombies.
Yeah.
What were you guys thinking at this point of the episode? And Nate, did you like zombie Doctor Strange?
No, I was disappointed we didn't get more Doctors. I would have loved more zombie Doctor Strange, but it was like only in the beginning part we got him. But I don't know. I mean, I was expecting it definitely after seeing the clip the day before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't surprising. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to see all of this. It was interesting.
I was thinking at this point, where do we go from here? I mean, and they did some fun things. I know we're going to talk about that.
It was a good episode.
It was a good episode, but in the end, it felt somewhat disconnected from the rest of the stories. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, because what was happening in the previous 2 episodes, it was feeling like they were building towards something.
Right.
And this one,
I feel like this one did.
Okay. Well,
end,
you can explain.
But
a little bit later. So.
Yeah, and so then later on, more zombie stuff. The gang is traveling to Camp Lehigh to find a cure, right? And Bucky ends up having to confront an undead Captain America, and they battle it out. But eventually, Bucky bisects Steve with the shield. Yeah, I mean, this is all happening before the events of Falcon and Winter Soldier, right? Mm-hmm. So Bucky still hasn't really had any therapy or time to deal with anything at this point. We see Steve or Sam Wilson. He was zombified too, and he got also bisected, actually, just in the other direction. And Bucky was fine with it because they hadn't had that chance to grow. But what do you guys? How do you think he's going to take this, especially with Steve being killed at his own hands?
I didn't get the feeling he cared.
Yeah, me neither.
It felt out of character for Bucky. It felt like Bucky wasn't connected to Cap. Remember, this is the Bucky that even as Winter Soldier, there's enough of a connection between him and Captain America that he saves Steve Rogers' life
right
at the end of the Winter Soldier movie. So at this point, the relationship has been restored. The friendship is there. We've seen that in Civil War, all of this. And now all of a sudden he sees Steve Rogers as a zombie. And he's like, all right, that's cool. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to kill everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my one gripe with this entire episode is they were entirely too chill with killing the Avengers.
I think the only reason that they were so chill is because technically they're already dead. So that maybe
though they were just infected with the virus.
It's weird.
So
I will say this though: if you two were technically dead but zombified, I would be devastated by that.
Yeah, that alone.
So then you guys you show up as zombies. I'm devastated, and now I'm going to kill you, and it's no big deal.
Yeah,
right.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
It felt like that didn't fit.
Right. There needed to be more emotional response from the characters.
I think the only emotional response the only character we got that emotional response from was Peter.
Peter and
Hope a little bit. Yeah.
Shoot, and Sharon when she had to kill Happy.
Yeah,
those were like the only things. Like it wasn't a very commonplace. But anyway, so then like last episode, we kind of saw how obsession can kind of take a dark turn and corrupt even the seemingly incorruptible. At the climax of this week's episode, we learned that Vision has actually ended up turning bad. He did, in fact, find a cure. Yeah. You know, he cured Scott Lang.
Right.
But Vision didn't keep his head about him for long. We learn he's been...
It's like deja vu, isn't it? We heard that joke just a minute ago.
We learn he's been feeding people to Wanda to keep her alive because she's been zombified, as he can't cure her because she's too powerful.
Wow.
Did either of you guys notice the mirrors here with WandaVision?
Yeah, they both have the same ideals. I mean, Wanda kept Vision alive if it was just kind of a dream version and was feeding into her obsession with keeping everything as unrealistic as possible. And I mean, same here. I mean, there's no reason for him to be caring about Wanda so much. She's already basically gone and he can't cure her. So
he even said he knew it was wrong, but he couldn't stop himself.
Yeah, exactly.
In WandaVision, though, we've got to remember that Wanda went to get the body of Vision and reanimated it.
Yeah.
Basically making Vision a zombie.
Undead, yeah.
The undead in WandaVision. And now we have Vision trying to continue to feed and keep alive an undead version of Wanda. There's a lot of connections there. I thought that is kind of a cool little nod.
I like the mirror there.
Yeah.
And then another kind of obsession, but it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, is it was Hope. She had an obsession to find her mother again, right? That was the whole quantum realm thing. That's what ultimately started this episode. Her mother contracted some quantum virus.
And this is the Ant-Man and Wasp story.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that ended up causing the events of this episode. So her obsession necessarily wasn't a bad thing, but it was an element in this episode. But this is the second episode where Hope has kind of been the main reasoning for the events of the episode. You know, we had the one where all the Avengers died, funny enough. And then in this one where she tries to find her mom and causes the outbreak. Anyway, do you think there could be something to that? Why are they bringing Hope in so much?
I think they just want to make her seem like an actually important character, because we haven't really had her as a main character in any movie yet, but she is a very important character in all of Marvel. So I think they're just trying to make her more prevalent. I think that's really the main reason.
We got her in Ant-Man and Wasp, and then like
we got her in Ant-Man.
Couple little scenes in, and then a couple little scenes in Endgame.
That's it.
But that's about it. She was, but in like you said last week or a couple weeks ago, she was a major character in the Avengers, right?
Do you remember the Avengers animated movie that we had on DVD?
Young Avengers?
Oh.
No, not Young Avengers.
Yeah. Oh man, that one's a throwback.
Her and Scott are critical part of the Avengers.
Oh,
in that,
okay.
With it.
Oh, I need to find that thing again.
I think that they're trying to build a relationship between fans and Wasp and Hope in the, as they get ready to go to Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania.
Yeah.
I think that they're trying to do that. So,
and then the star of the show, in my opinion, was easily Peter Parker.
Of course.
Somehow throughout the horrible events of the episode and him losing just about everyone close to him, he remained a source of optimism and hope to everyone around him, making zombie survival tutorial videos and just generally cheering everyone up. There was especially that one scene where like Hope, she had gotten bit by a zombie, Sharon Carter, and she was like, "How do you stay so upbeat?" And Peter said, "Practice, I guess. My mom, dad, Uncle Ben," which was the first mention of Uncle Ben in the MCU, which is kind of a big deal. Mr. Stark, I've lost a lot, but my Aunt May says, if we don't keep smiling when they can't, then we might as well be gone too. What were your guys' thoughts, just in general, on Peter Parker in this episode?
It was perfect. I'm disappointed. I don't think it was Tom Holland.
It wasn't, but it was a good voice.
He sounded a lot like the MCU one, but I thought it was fun. It felt weird. Here's where it felt weird. I love the idea of Peter Parker making tutorial videos, right? That goes back to Homecoming level.
Right.
That goes back to Civil War.
Right.
Which is this universe's take on him being a photographer.
Exactly. I like that. It was fun. It, again, felt out of place. Tony Stark is a zombie in this opening.
Right.
The father, it's one thing to have hope. It's another thing to make funny tutorial videos where Happy's wearing a funny t-shirt.
That was a funny t-shirt. Is that on our TeePublic store or whatever?
No, we don't do
or not TeePublic, our Designed by Humans?
No, it's not. But that part felt, I love what they say about Hope. I love the conversation between Hope and Peter. I love all of that. I just felt like there was a disconnect with the funny videos at this point.
This whole... We don't know how long these people have been zombified.
Okay.
We have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know how long after Ant-Man and Wasp is Infinity War.
Actually, I think that they even referenced it was 2 weeks between the end of when all of this had happened. So it hadn't been long, guys.
Yeah, that's not very long.
It feels off. Maybe I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, you guys listening can point that out.
Maybe it's like he's in denial or something. But Dad, you like this concept of hope, though. Why is that the case? And are there any sort of like real world connections you can think of to having hope for others?
Yeah, I think that what Peter's idea with hope is that it's what drives you forward, right? If you don't have hope, then this is why we have such a problem, I think, personally, with depression and things like that, because people, their lives fall apart, relationships fall apart, people die, financial things become overwhelming. We live in the most connected society in the world, or in history, the most connected society in history, that is the most lonely society in history, and all of that keeps people, it just becomes overwhelming. And so this depression starts to take over. And the idea of hope is that there's a purpose, that, that there is something good that's coming, for the Christian, in the Christian tradition, that hope is no matter how bad things get in this world, on the other side, there is a glorious existence, with, eternal life and, no more tears. When you read the end of the Bible, it's talking about there's no more tears, there's no more crying, there's no more darkness, there's no more death, there's no more pain. So as Christians, we have hope. And so we have something to look forward to, which keeps us driving forward. Peter Parker in this, he does that similarly, with this. He's got hope that they can overcome this and that they can continue to move on. But I think that hope is a little, honestly, it's not hope. It's optimism that doesn't have a purpose. And so it works out in the storyline, but I think that that hope, like the Christian tradition, is much more powerful. So anyway. Yeah.
And then in the final seconds of the episode, we see a zombified Mad Titan with 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones already, because nobody's been around to stop him at this point. Now that Thanos is undead, how do you think this could alter his grand plan?
I'm not sure if it can alter it. I mean, he has nothing to lose now. I mean, he can't lose his life, really. He's kind of already dead, so...
Eliminating half of all life results in him eliminating half of his food source going forward.
That's a good point.
And as a zombie, you're not thinking about anything other than food, from my understanding. That's the way zombies are.
I'm pretty sure it's like brain.
I want to eat other people. Yeah. That is the zombie way, right? Okay.
This is the way.
This is the way. All right. So now I do think it alters his plan. What I do also think that is pretty interesting here is the way that everything ended up with it's the Mind Stone.
Mind Stone, yep, the last one.
The Mind Stone, Vision's taken it off. It's gone. It's open. It's free. It's ready to go. Which, watching that, I'm sitting there thinking, if it was that easy, why didn't it happen that way in Infinity War?
Because they didn't want to kill him.
Anyway.
Yeah.
That
killed him.
It did kill him. Okay.
All right. Well, this week's episode was lively, to say the least. And while it was full of typical zombie movie fun, there was still some good messages beneath the skin. Be sure to keep watching to see what happens with Zombie Thanos.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, BB Nate. You're going to have some movie minutes. What are we talking about in movie moments?
Well, we're going to be talking about some new releases. There isn't many. There's just a couple. And then,
else?
of course, Shang-Chi and Venom. I gotta get Shang-Chi right.
All right, BB Nate, it is that part of the show where we talk about ratings and reviews.
Yes, it is. We have a great review this week, and I cannot wait to share it.
Awesome. Before you do that, though, real quick, explain to our amazing, awesome listeners why ratings and reviews are so important.
Well, last week I mentioned it helps build the show's credibility, but another reason is that reviews help us put together a show that people want to listen to. While we always love to have 5-star ratings and positive reviews, we also appreciate reviews that give us new ideas we can use to make the show even better.
Exactly. And even the positive reviews tell us what you like about the show. So we take your feedback very seriously.
That is true. Very true. And BB Nate, we have a review this week.
We do.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's do it.
And it's from Lucas Pinkard, one of the hosts of the Reverend and the Reprobate podcast.
Nice.
Lucas wrote, "This is one of my favorite podcasts in all of nerddom. Dave, Sam, and Nate are incredibly insightful in their commentary. Their worldview analysis of pop culture is enlightening, and their on-air chemistry is great. The podcast is edifying to listen to with the family or on your own. Cannot recommend it highly enough."
Wow. They don't get much better than that. When I read that, it tells me that we're hitting some of the big targets that we shoot for, like trying to be something more than just a recap of what happens in these films and TV shows. We want to offer something that you can't get on other podcasts.
And I love it when Lucas says it's something people can listen to with their families. It's always been really important to us. So thanks, Lucas.
Yeah, big thank you. Make sure you check out the Reverend and the Reprobate show. You'll definitely enjoy it. And then please give us a rating and a review on podchaser.com/Tatooine Sons.
Yeah, and remember, you can rate and review more than just the show. You can also review individual episodes. So if you've already given us a review before on Podchaser, you can do it again on this episode.
And as always, if you give us a review, we will make a donation in your honor to One Child to help provide food, medicine, education, and more to a child who really needs it.
Yeah, awesome. So please head on over to podchaser.com/Tatooine Sons and review the show.
But I was going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
So this week, there are only 2 movies coming out. We might go see one, but
no,
probably not.
Probably not.
So the first one is Malignant. Did I get that right?
You did.
I did. It's
like a malignant tumor?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
It's rated R for strong horror, violence, gruesome images, and for language.
So pass.
Yeah, it's a scary movie. And the log line synopsis thing is Madison is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities.
Nope. I'm good.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm going to pass on that
this
one.
is by James Wan, and he's actually he did Aquaman.
Okay.
He's going to be doing Aquaman 2. So
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
Lost Kingdom, yes.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the other one? That wasn't the one you thought we might go to?
No.
What?
Okay. All right.
Definitely not.
All right.
The next one is Show Me the Father, rated PG for thematic material.
What does that even mean?
Means that it's talking about things that parents may want to have conversations with their children about.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. The log line is features captivating stories interwoven with inspirational truths about the fatherhood of God.
It's a documentary. It's by the Kendrick brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a couple other movies.
They did Courageous and War
They
Room.
did. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But this is a documentary. Mm-hmm. And it's got some great people in it. But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So on to the movie news.
Let's move on.
Shang-Chi has destroyed the Labor Day box office records with Halloween 2007 was the last holder of the record for Labor Day box office releases with 30 million. This one smashed it with about 140, which is big.
Wow. I think that your numbers may be off. I think you may be looking 30 million domestic, and then you're comparing it to worldwide.
Yes, it was 70 million domestic, 140 worldwide. But the worldwide standing right now, as of today, before we get the box office numbers, of course, at the end of the day for the weekend, is 162 million worldwide.
Wow.
Pretty big. 92% critics on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's really good.
It's fallen just a little bit, but 98% on audience.
Is that the highest Rotten Tomatoes score for any MCU movie
I'm
so
sure.
far? No, it is. I'm pretty sure. I'm like almost certain it is.
Nice.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Right.
And Venom Let There Be Carnage release date has been moved up to October 1st. The runtime is being reported as an hour and a half, which
that's short.
I'm not sure if that's going to be true. And you can actually get your tickets now. They're available, and you can get it in, see them only in theaters. Won't be going same day to streaming on any platform, including Disney Plus.
All right. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so Seven Samurai. It's considered by many experts on filmmaking to be one of the greatest movies ever made. And its influence on Star Wars can't be understated. It is about a group of sword wielders. Sword. I can't. Sword wielders.
It's part of sword wielders.
Isn't like the dude from Princess Bride?
That's right. Coming to the rescue of everyday people being oppressed by the worst among us, like my children. You may only think that you've never seen this movie, but I'm willing to bet that everyone listening to this podcast already knows this story very well.
Bulky religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
It's this town that's like being abused by outlaws. Rango.
And this lizard finds his way to it, and he protects the town.
Yeah, he becomes like a gunslinger.
Sounds like the Seven Samurai to me. All right. Let's do this before we get into talking about Seven Samurai and all these other connections in Star Wars and outside of Star Wars. We haven't watched Seven Samurai yet.
I have not, no.
Primary reason is it's long. It's 217 minutes.
At that point, I would just watch Lord of the Rings.
Exactly. So, yeah. Nate, you tried to watch it this week. I was flying. Sam was in school.
And so I was sick, and I was trying to find something to fill the time with. And I knew we were talking about this week. And I was tired and everything. I was doped up on medicine. I was all over the place. So I started, and I'm 45 minutes in, and I could not pay attention to it. Like my attention span is on at like a 0 at that point. So I just decided, okay, I'll try to find another time to watch
and
it.
I was out of town all weekend or all week, even longer than I expected because of the travel problems. And so that kept me from doing it. Sam, you've been doing school. So we have not watched this yet, but here is a summary of the plot.
I can pretty much give you the summary.
Well, I'll give it to you real quick. A samurai answers a village's request for protection after he falls on hard times. The town needs protection from bandits. So the samurai gathers 6 others to help him teach the people how to defend themselves. And the villagers provide the soldiers with food. A giant battle occurs when 40 bandits attack the village. Meanwhile, a young samurai falls in love with a beautiful villager. So does this sound familiar to either of you two?
Just a little bit.
I don't know. I've never heard of this kind of concept. No.
It seems to be like half the movies that we love or storylines. It's like
that or Arthurian legend. Like it's just either one of these storylines.
Is there a recent story that from Star Wars that seems to like be stolen straight from the script?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Mandalorian season 1, chapter 4, the 4th episode with like the
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary. The krill farmers or whatever.
Yeah, the krill farmers. These people attack them. They take their stuff.
They attack the krill farmers.
Yeah, they're going to take. Okay. They take the krill. They're going to keep taking the krill. So they send 2 farmers to search for these people. And
search for help for anybody.
Search for help. They find the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian goes and finds Cara Dune. They go and they teach the villagers how to defend themselves, and then they attack the bandits. It's a carbon copy of Seven Samurai.
Yeah, and don't forget that there's what I think is a love story between Din and Omera.
Yeah,
which is
that's a good point.
Is that your fanship?
Are you shipping them?
Come on,
You're
seriously.
shipping them.
What is their couple name?
Dinmera. All right. There are two other major stories, though, that really, in Star Wars, that mirror Seven Samurai. Sam, you've got one, right?
Yeah, it's the Marvel Comics Star Wars number 7. This was the first issue that came out after the movie released in 1977. And the kind of like log line of it is Han Solo leaves the rebellion to pay Jabba the Hutt. He has his money stolen by a pirate and finds himself stranded on Aduba 3, which is basically a planet that's like a complete copy of Tatooine. Han is enlisted by peasants to protect them from bandits. He assembles a cast of comic book characters, including the infamous Jackson,
nice,
a giant green space rabbit, and an insane old man who thinks he's a Jedi, going by the name of Don Juan Quixote.
Yeah, but it's not spelt the way that you heard it. It's Donwan, kind of like Obi-Wan. Right. And then Quixote is Kihotay. So it's not Quixote like in
the
Don Quixote.
Yeah. But together they fight off the bandits and save the day for the peasants.
Major deja vu right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And
then Nate, you had one too,
there's
right?
Another one. It's the Clone Wars, the Bounty Hunters. I mean, it's Dave Filoni. Of course, he took from Kurosawa the inspired stuff. He
loves Kurosawa.
He does. It
yeah.
seems like everybody in Star Wars. It's like a rite of passage. If you are going to work on Star Wars, you have to love Kurosawa.
I remember walking through Lucasfilm with
And
Matt Martin,
yeah.
and seeing artwork from Hidden Fortress and Seven Samurai,
yeah.
and Matt Martin saying, "Have you guys watched that yet?" And we're like, "No." And they're like, "You need to watch that. You need to watch those movies."
Yeah. And this episode is about. I'm sure these Clone Wars diehard fans already know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
But the Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka crash land on a planet and are helped by villagers who are being protected by 3 bounty hunters against attacks of Hondo Ohnaka, who is trying to steal.
Is this our first? This is season 2, right?
I think this is our first.
This is our first experience with Hondo Ohnaka.
It is.
Really?
And don't we get Maul in this arc? At the end of this
that's
arc?
later.
No, that's
way
another.
later.
Yeah, that's with Hondo, but it's
So he's a
different.
bad guy in this one.
Yeah, Hondo is a bad guy in this one. And in Seven Samurai, a major threat is that the bandits attacking the village have rifles while the samurai don't.
And this is exactly what happens in this one.
Exactly.
Yeah, the bounty hunters. The Hondo's crew have tanks that can overpower the Jedi.
Exactly.
And so they have the swords against tanks, just like the Seven Samurai have swords against rifles. And,
Right.
and it's like this commentary on like the
it's kind of like the
war getting worse, you know, and technology.
Also, like, don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
That's true too.
Yeah.
There are some other films that were influenced by Seven Samurai, and this is where it comes into you've seen this story before.
Yeah. The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, I mean, that was
almost
easy.
a complete remake as a Western. I mean, even Kurosawa said that his movies are Easterns, so it makes sense that there would be a
Heck,
Western
it's even
version.
7.
Yeah,
Like,
it came out just a few years after.
Exactly,
right.
yeah.
And it's everybody kind of associates that. But Sam, there's one that most people probably would never consider to be a steal of the Seven Samurai, but it is.
When it's explained, A Bug's Life. You've got the grasshoppers or whatever who come into this ants
to the bug community.
Right. They steal their food and they leave, right? And this is like a yearly thing. And this happens all the time. Flick comes in with the band of misfits, you know, and they defend the colony from the invaders.
And Flick even has a love story.
Right, with one of the people. It's like...
Did you guys know this is it may feel a little bit like deja vu here, but the Matrix Revolutions.
I couldn't elaborate on that because
you guys don't even remember this. But I'll explain for all you listeners out there that know the Matrix Revolutions. You have, in Zion, you have Morpheus and Neo and Trinity bringing together this group. They're there to basically liberate the Zion from the machines, the AI that keep attacking them over and over again. It's so much not stolen. Let's just do it this way. The Wachowskis
imitated.
We're paying an homage to Seven Samurai to such an extent that the head of Zion's armored personnel unit, the APU Corps, which is a really cool stuff group in this and an awesome scene. He dies in this movie, which is sad. But
Spoilers.
Listen, it's a 20-year-old movie, and you've already
Not
seen
to
it
us, though.
on TBS. Captain Mifune is his name. He's named after Toshiro Mifune, who's the star of Seven Samurai and The Hidden Fortress. We talked about him last week, General Makabe.
And he is Yojimbo as well. So
yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of tied on that. For the dad moment this week,
I am your father.
There's a thread that runs through each of these segments. In What If, we saw how Peter Parker simply chose to have hope that things could get better. It was that hope that kept him calm in the face of super zombie attacks. But it did more than that. It gave him courage to keep fighting against insurmountable odds. It's the same thing that fuels Neo in the Matrix. It's not enough to realize that a world has been pulled over his eyes. Once he accepts that, he has to have hope that things can change. And it's that hope that leads him to fight back. And the villagers in the Seven Samurai movies and all of the ones that stole from it, all the oppressed citizens in Star Wars, they have this in common too. Let's not forget that the first words spoken by Princess Leia are directed to an old, wizened space samurai when she says, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope." Leia never gave up hope. It fueled her and her tireless fight to restore the Republic and free its citizens. Hope gave Leia courage. It can do the same for us. So never give up hope. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Anything else?
Yeah, Sony has finally announced a full remake of Knights of the Old Republic to be launched exclusively on PS5 and later released to other platforms, which is huge. I know a lot of people are really excited about that.
Except the only problem is nobody can get a PS5.
except for me.
Except for
you're a
do
wizard.
it.
You'll set up a bot.
I'll set up an affiliate link and just do it real quick.
We do not. Let's be really
Scalp.
clear.
No,
are
we do not
scalpers. He bought it helped someone buy one using it that way. All right.
So Scarlett Johansson has actually asked Disney for $100 million when they decided to release Black Widow on streaming at the same time as theaters, and they didn't grant that, and that's why there's a lawsuit happening.
Do you really think that that's how much that she expected to make?
That's just insane.
In addition to what she was paid for the movie?
Yeah, that's
insane. And after hearing that with actors, I can't believe the rumor of how much Robert Pattinson is going to...
Which was how much again?
Like $3 million.
Oh my goodness.
There's no way.
Did you guys see that Mark Hamill broke the internet?
Yes.
By tweeting nothing more than his own name.
I love that.
He was scared. So somebody said, I bet you Mark Hamill could just tweet Mark Hamill and it would get like 80,000 hearts or likes or whatever. And he did it and
it exploded.
It like trended within minutes. It was crazy. I was watching it happen. It was nuts with that. All right. If you're a regular listener of the show, we ask you to stick around to the end so we could get your help with something. Here's where that comes from. We would love some feedback from you. Even if you've given us reviews, go ahead and participate this way. It would help us a lot. We're trying to offer the most entertaining, engaging conversation possible. So if you will please just email us the answer to this question. Again, if you've already done this, thank you so much. But if you haven't, please email the answer to this question. What is your favorite podcast and why? And you can send it to feedback@tatooinesons.com. Again, feedback@tatooinesons.com. Everyone who emails us will be entered into a drawing, and one lucky winner will get a really, did I say something weird?
No, we got the church giggles.
Okay. All right. We'll get a really fun Turbis shirt from Designed by Humans. Please send us your email no later than the end of the month, September 30th, 2021. That email address, once again, is feedback@tatooinesons.com. And if you could also please take a second to share this episode with all the nerds and the geeks in your life. I'm not sure what they're laughing at. The most significant way this show grows is when you tell others about it. All right. Can you guys, finish the show? Pull it together for the next 60 seconds. All right. Thank you so much for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast.
If you had a good time listening, it would be awesome if you could share this with your friends.
And of course, this show's only a small part of the Tatooine Sons world, so be sure to like us on Facebook, join our discussion group on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter to get in on all the action, and keep up to date on everything we got going on at TatooineSons.com.
Yeah. And don't forget to follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss our next episode. Remember that if you drop us a review at podchaser.com/Tatooine Sons, we're going to make a donation in your honor to one child to help a child living in extreme poverty. All right. Anything else you guys would like to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.
Joy, please.